Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 with me, naval Mega, in the Kaiserliche Marine, the navy of the German Empire. So it is 1903 and we're gonna start as usual with the diplomatic situation of the German Empire. There's pretty much only two things that I actually wanted to mention here. The first one is a little bit of a bad news. We lost the alliance with Japan, and though we have very good relations with them right now, I expect that it's gonna get a little bit worse due to the fact that we own Sakhalin. Truth be told, if there ever is an opportunity to pass Sakhalin to Japan, I would do it. I don't have much interest in it. I don't think it's giving us anything. There's no oil there or anything. So if they give us payment or alliance or anything pretty much for it, technology or whatever, I would just do that trade because it's too far away from us and it's bringing very little, and I don't want to get dragged into a war with Japan over it. I don't know what your opinions are on that, but that seems like a wise way to go. And second thing is that Austria-Hungary now has alliance with 5 of the 8 competing great powers. They're collecting alliances like Pokemon. They have alliance with us, with France, with Russia, with Japan, and with the United States. They don't have alliance with Great Britain, with Italy, and with Spain. Kind of interestingly, as I mentioned before, Italy has alliance with the United States, so worst case scenario, they fight together with us, France, Russia, and Japan, United States, and Italy. Worst case scenario for Italy, Italy fights 6 out of the 8 competing great powers, which would be kind of interesting to see. You know, I can imagine that their navy wouldn't last much time, but you know, interesting. We'll see. Other than that, not much to say. Increased tensions between Spain and United States, between us and Russia, and us and Great Britain. Nothing new under the sun. I guess that's all that we should mention right here. It can go all the way, or it can drop to 0. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen next? Tonnage comparison is kind of interesting. I was expecting... I saw that everybody got great budget cuts, but apart from us and Austria-Hungary, everybody else added nearly or over 10,000 tons. Great Britain, of course, leading everybody else with 35,900 tons. Then you have France, 17,300, Italy, 11,100, Russia, 12,700. USA and Japan added both 9,400 tons, Austria-Hungary 1,500 tons, Spain 9,300 tons, and we added 5,600 tons. No change in the order of, it's not power, but you know, the size of the navy, I guess, in raw tonnage. But still, it's interesting. You know, they keep chugging along, adding more ships, while we're struggling with refitting the old ones. So, on the other hand, I kind of like the fact that you guys voted for Plan Grau, because having a ton of obsolete ships is, in my opinion, much worse than having a little of great ships. So, we'll see. We'll see. Here's the tonnage comparison. You know, everybody is just leaving us in the dust, so what can we do? We're well past 2.5 million tons of tonnage combined, and as far as the tonnage comparison goes, I've actually forgot to update the table here. And with the modern technology, I corrected it. So you can see a little bit that the numbers have stabilized, but Great Britain is getting back a little bit of its dominance. Everybody else just moving along with our share dropping slightly. In 1900 we had 9.83%, and we got all the way to 10, and now we're back to 9.8, which is the most important metric for us. Spain increasing slightly. Other than that, it's just, you know, year-to-year mediocre progress. Economy and budget. Here we have some really good news. After a long while, we had a pretty good increase of 17.56%. Yearly budget is now at 106,840 Reichsmark. Well, we're burning a lot of cash, and we lost nearly, or not nearly, we lost over 30% of our cash at hand. We still have nearly 6% of our yearly budget in reserve, and we're doing good. The total expenses are only at 105.3%, and they are under control. We're building the König von Preußen ship, and with the other rebuilds, or it's the only ship that we're building, so the other constructions are all rebuilds, and that's going to be absolutely fine because they're short term and we calculated the expenses there, so not an issue. We also finally got rid of the training, which is now at the 90 Reichsmark per month, which is only payment for the academy, and that is near a 90% decrease in our expensive 2.96%. I guess that's all. One thing that I would like to mention here as well that I forgot about is that I'm happy that the ship cost is remaining stable at this point. There is a slight increase of 0.4%, but it is still pretty good. We're at 32.56% there with the overall expenses, so it's fine. It is fine. Here you can see the rebound. We've actually had nearly hit the bottom, but now we're well above 100,000, so I'm hoping it's gonna stay there. Research was actually another really good topic for us this year. We added a level in armor development, in hull construction. Both, are quite important for the new designs that we might come up with later on. Turrets and gun mountings the same, though I don't think that this actually gave us anything in reduction, but it allows our battleships to have was it secondaries, or was the wing? I think it was twin turreted secondaries. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but something like that. We had an advance also in ship design. We had 2 levels in submarines. We're actually building some submarines actually our first submarine right now. Once it's finished, we're gonna keep building another one. I actually think that based on the cost and at the levels that we are reaching now with the budget, we can safely just keep churning one after another and make sure that the production is continuous, because we will need them eventually. We got a level in explosive shells and 3 whole levels in naval guns. You can see that it's getting a little bit better. 12-inch guns still being the best ones, but both 7 and 8-inch guns are now at quality 0, and we got 4 and 5-inch guns also at 0. So I was talking about that in the previous episode, that we might turn the tertiary guns from 3-inch to 5-inch guns for our battleships and heavy cruisers. But we're gonna see. It depends on the primaries, but something like for heavy cruisers it would still make sense to have 853, but battleships definitely can switch from 1283 to 1285. The 5 ones actually have a range of it was nearly 9,000 yards, which is much better for them. Other than that, they're useful only at a very short range, which for a battleship, is fine and all, but if you can shoot at a bigger distance, then they are, of course, much more useful. Fleet overview. Well, we got 9 battleships, we got 11 heavy cruisers now, with 1 still being in production, the König von Preußen, and we now have 10 destroyers. No change in the light cruisers and no change in the amount of corvettes. Here we have the continuous increase, though I'm gonna be honest, only 1 heavy cruiser, and that's the small one, was built, but it's the destroyers that are actually rapidly expanding, as you can see on the graph. What I want to mention, though, is that we're going to continue with the Plan Grau, but I was kind of surprised by the vote that we held. Many of you probably are familiar with my community page. Those of you that aren't, if I mention that I hold a vote in the episode, or generally, it is held at my community page, and I'm using it now to hold votes in regards to ruler waves quite frequently. So check it out if you want to, and become the part of the game. Now, what I was surprised by is that I held a vote based on the previous episode about the fate of the Weissenburgs, which we have here. They have all been rebuilt in 1890 to a sort of a more usable battleship. I think they started with something like 14 knots, something like that. And we rebuilt them to be slightly faster. We gave them more shells, and I believe we improved something else, but I don't remember what it was. The question was, what are we going to do with them right now? Because at this point they are again becoming extremely obsolete for us, and they haven't really worked well in the colonies because they didn't have enough accommodation for our marines? No, not marines, sailors. For our sailors, and they were constantly causing us issues. So the question was, as you can see on the screen, I'm going to post the vote here. We had three options. Either Weissenburgs stay mothballed and we'll scrap them by 1910 without any substitute, or we will rebuild them for colonial duty once more. And it's going to be an expensive rebuild because we're going to have to change the machinery, put on bulges, make them faster. They're going to get an extra knot, which is, good, 70 knots. And they're going to get normal accommodation. But it's going to be an expensive rebuild. Or we will design a small colonial battleship, which is going to be at the base of the new navy. And we'll scrap the Weissenburgs once these ships are finished. Though that violates the plan and grow doctrine. Surprisingly, 61% of you voted throughout the day for the rebuilds, which is kind of surprising. I usually let it go to around 100 votes. Kind of interesting thing. I don't know if you guys are into statistics, but there is a pretty easy formula that says that if you can get at least 100 people to vote on something, the difference between 100,000 and 10,000, unless you are asking about something extremely divisive, or if you encounter a massive anomaly, the results won't be very much different. And that actually worked for my YouTube. If I let this voting go on for another 2 days, 2 weeks, the ratio is going to change only very slightly when it hits 100 votes. It changes dramatically between 10 and 50, but at 100 I am pretty much sure that you guys showed the Vox Populi. So yeah, we're going to rebuild them today. And it's kind of surprising to me. There was even some really nice discussion about whether we should scrap them or keep them. But you kind of dramatic amount of you is for the rebuild. So that's what we're gonna do. That's why we vote. Other than that, things are going very well. The first König von Preußen is gonna be finished in this episode. We're gonna put the second one into production. We've already talked about that we want to continue building them. We are rebuilding the Victoria or Louise class. We finished the first Sakhalin, which was the fifth heavy cruiser of the class that we got, and is the heavy cruiser that we actually finished. And we're rebuilding the Lübeck here. We need to rebuild the Gazelles today, which is going to be another project for us to do. And we have finished all of the V1 class destroyers, and we finished the two VF1 class destroyer leaders, which are coupled with the V1, and they are working as a group of 5 destroyers, 4 of the V1 and 1 VF1 leader. We might, if we have the budget, we might build a 3rd squadron today as well. We're gonna see. Nothing in regards to the corvettes that are still there though. I'm thinking, again, if we have a little bit more money, we might start building more Fredericas, and I'm gonna start scrapping the ones that we have. So that is a thing that we should do. As far as naval bases go, no change, but we managed to increase our dockyard capacity by 2,500 tons, which is pretty decent, currently at 24,500 tons, which gives us, which means we have the biggest dockyard in the world available, which is great. Nothing changed in regards to the coastal fortifications. And as far as for officer corps goes, we now have 2 fleet admirals. We had only Fleet Admiral Oldweb for a long time, so I'm happy that we get another one, even if he's of unknown quality. And we have 8 admirals because one was promoted. We have 2 more contra-admirals. We have 8 more capitaines sur zé, so the main captain corps is growing considerably. And we have 16 frigate and capitains, 2 less than the year before. But considering they're commanding the destroyers and some of the light cruisers, I expect in the future there's going to be a big growth in that area. I still think that we are a little bit top heavy because we have 21 flag officers and only 53 regular captains and commanders. But, why not? Why not? Anyway, that's all for today, and I'm gonna jump in the game right now, and we're gonna see what the year 1903 brings. Hopefully it's good vintage. Well, 1903 is here, and we are going to start pretty quickly because we can't really do much due to the negative monthly balance. However, if we check the ships under construction in 1 month, we are going to finish the rebuild of the Lubeck, which is, not very expensive, 289 Reichsmark per month. So it's not going to give us much, but again, it is a bit of an income. König von Preußen comes the month after, and then in 4 months we are going to finish the rebuilds of the Victoria Louise ships. Once these ones are done, we are going to we're gonna design the rebuild of the Weissenburgs, and we're gonna send them up for that upgrade. Interestingly, I noticed that a lot of our ships are starting to age. You can see it pretty easily on the fact that their maximum speed is dropping quite dramatically. I mean, quite dramatically. The amount of those ships is quite dramatic. The drop is not dramatic as of yet, but I wonder if it's gonna continue. We might have to revamp their machinery and make sure that, these ships can serve well in the future. I don't think there is a way how to fix it. No, I think we actually... No, they're in active fleet, so it definitely is not... Yeah, an elite ship here also has a drop. It definitely is not connected to the quality of the crew. I just wanted to make sure that that's not the case. Anyway, as I said, we can go to the next turn. Lübeck has finished reconstruction. Our scientists report that they are well on their way to understand central firing. And we get a research breakthrough. Armor-piercing projectiles, reliable bursting charges, enhances damage from penetration hits. Lübeck has finished reconstruction. Contra-Admiral Heitzhuisen is promoted to Admiral. Good, we've had him for a while. Captain Suze Ambrosius of cruiser Prince Adalbert, his average but poor administrator, is promoted to Contra-Admiral and is placed in command of the Home Fleet Cruiser Support. Okay, so I guess Heitzhuisen was leading that. And Captain Zurze Laboime, above average, is placed in command of Prince Adalbert. That's good. That heavy cruiser deserves someone of good skill. Intelligence report from Russia. The battleship Imperatrica Ekaterina Velikaya is rumored to carry 12-inch main guns. That's pretty standard. Tensions between Spain and USA increase because of hereditary enmity, but decrease because of the recent war. And that's that. And we get a new event. One thing that I actually wanted to mention is that I was toying around when I was writing the update, and I found out that you can actually double click the technologies and it's going to show you all of the development and its effect, which is pretty interesting. So for example, for the machinery development, we can see that we have the YST engine here, the free drum boiler, improved surface condenser, and Cockburn safety valve. So we get a 4% reduction saving on machinery and lighter machinery for destroyers. Same, I guess. Okay, so that moves you over here. But for the armor-piercing projectiles, you can see that we have 1, 2, Okay, so we have 2 improvements in the armor-piercing penetration. We have 1 enhanced damage from penetrating hits, and we have 2 improved accuracy, rate of fire, and this one also increases penetration. So it will be kind of interesting to look at these later on when we get a little bit more information about the technologies, as we're going to progress. Again, I said there are hundreds of technologies in the game, so we're not even scratching the surface at this point. Okay, so with Liebeck out of the dockyard, we are now only at minus 317 Reichsmark per month, which is manageable. The Nationalist Party managed to persuade the Kaiser to offer us increased funding for the Navy. I never thought that I would say thank you to the Nationalist Party. And König von Preußen is commissioned into the Navy, and 3 ships finished their working up. Russia secured the Guangzhou One territory as a concession from China. And a revolution in the African country has led to some of our nationals stranded. What do we do? Well, that's a good question. We have a lot of options here. We could send a strong squadron to bombard the capital until all citizens are released. Budget prestige but increased tension. We can join an international squadron sent to contain the violence, or resolve the crisis via diplomacy. Well, we're gonna join the international squadron sent to contain the violence. And we made an unexpected advance in machinery development. Research breakthrough: machinery development side drums. 1% saving on weight on machinery. We were just talking about that. Really nice. So Wismar, Hamburg, and Danzig finished their working up. König von Preußen is commissioned. Captain Josef Steudinger is placed in command of heavy cruiser König von Preußen. The Nationalist Party manages to persuade Kaiser to increase the funding. We're going to see how much we've gained. Tensions between the United States and Great Britain decreases because they share common values. And that's it. Okay, we have more ships in the east than we have support there. So I'm going to keep the corvettes there. No, really? That's more? What is it? Northeast Asia value. Base capacity is 110. Ship-based requirement is 5. Oh no, it's Southeast Asia. Who do we have in Southeast Asia? Karsten. Why the hell are you in Southeast Asia? You are actually going to move to Northern Europe, and we're gonna scrap you. This ship is way too old, and it's supposed to be gone by now. So, goodbye, sweet prince. And we now have a monthly balance of 1824 Reichsmark, which will be more than enough for us to build another König von Preußen. And this König von Preußen is going to be called Friedrich I. So it's going to take 1754 Reichsmark per month. It's going to take 24 months to be built. And we can do it. So let's start with it. And it means we still have 70 Reichsmark. So it was about 350, something like that, Reichsmark per month. That is really, really nice of them. Good guys in the Nationalist Party. Oh god, I can't believe I just said that. With tensions low, the Reichstag votes to reduce naval spending. Oh man! Well, easy come, easy go, I guess. Our scientists report that they are working on the problem of quality control. And we get a research breakthrough in fire control. Central firing. So that is a new fire control technology. Enables central firing as a fire control systems on ships. Okay, and tensions with Great Britain increase dramatically. Oh, come on. That's not cool. That's just not cool. Okay, so let me see what the central firing is. If we put out the Donau. So we have the central rangefinder. And central firing is a little bit more weight consuming. Jesus Christ, look at how much free weight we have now. Nearly 1,000 tons on the Donau since we designed it. That's just crazy. Really crazy. But yeah, the technology does that to you. That's why I said that, you're designing ships that are going to be obsolete by the time you launch them. Really crazy stuff. Okay, not much else that we can do right now due to the budget cut. I was about to design... Well, we're going to design them next month when the Victoria Ruiz ships come out of... And ironically, the Weissenburgs are going to be the first ones to get the most modern fire control. How interesting is that? Okay, so 3 cruisers finished the reconstruction. Top Spy has managed to get hold of the blueprints for the Italian ship Battleship Italia. 15,000 tons, 21 knots. It has 2 12-inch guns, 12 8-inch guns. So yeah, so it is the double secondaries as we were talking about. So they can do that as well, and so can we. And 12 4-inch guns. Interesting that this ship is really nice, fairly fast, but has a very insufficient armor. 8.5-inch belt is very weak. I mean, it is very well gunned and very fast, but the amount of armor it has is very lacking. So, Fregatten Captain Weinecke is placed in command of light cruiser Danzig. And Ulrich is promoted to Captain Surza. Okay. Italian destroyer Nembo has a top speed of 28 knots. And tensions decreased with everyone except Great Britain. Well, okay, that's one thing done. I wanted to check how the Donau ships look. So here's the Donau. It's slower a little bit. There's way more guns. There's almost the same amount of secondaries, but we have an 11-inch belt. So that's definitely something that we should consider. And let me see the gun data. Yeah, at 1,000 yards we could penetrate it with one shot. So that really is way too low. And with the improved weapons, I mean we can't change it here, but with the improved weapons, yeah, at 3,000 yards we can actually penetrate it with a good shot. Interesting choice, Italy. I don't know if that number is correct, but Top Spy stole it, so it could be. Either way, here we go with the rebuilds of the Weissenburgs. These babies are going to go to the colonies. So, okay, first things first, replace machinery. Which... Actually, does that do anything for us? I mean, yeah, we can't change the speed, and we need to change the speed if we want to make them bulged. Because if we go just with bulged, their speed is gonna drop from actually 15 to 13. So we need to replace the machinery, and we need to speed them up to 19 knots. Which is still doable, We're gonna give them the central firing. That still leaves us with 16 knots. And We wanted to increase the accommodation to normal, which cost us 80. 80 in weight. Well, I mean, it doesn't cost us 80, it costs us 96. Would we want to go to spacious? Could that be doable if we went down to 18? So they would remain with 16 knots, but I was hoping to make them slightly faster. They don't have any torpedo tubes, so we can't really do much there. Secondary guns are casemated. There's only 4 of them. Wait, 8. We could actually upgrade the caliber of the secondary guns. It's interesting. Going to 3 actually does sound like a good idea. That would... What's the difference in price? It's negligible. And we could go even to 5, which is the heavy increase in their performance. I don't believe we can change the gun. No, the ship has short range or freeboard. Rebuild error. Yeah, threat A, illegal caliber gun number. Change the turn valid combination for this. 12. Oh? Would this work? How form will not allow higher speed than 70 knots? Okay, so this saved a lot of weight. Their warship is overgunned. Ship is overgunned, rate of fire accuracy, 12 new gun. Speed of 10 fire. That's not gonna help us much. If we slow them down to 16, okay, but they're gonna have 14 knots. But this is significantly better. Even if it has just 1 gun, I like that 1 gun more than the 2 that we had before, which was 9,819, penetration 3.7. Yeah, this one is much better. So, okay, I didn't know that we could rebuild it like this, but it works. So why the hell not? And can I... Oh god, I can't. Damn, okay, well... What if we went like this? Caliber 8, and we increase 2 guns. And the combination was carrying, so additional... Ah, okay, I cannot. But I could still drop the weight, couldn't I? Nor change the third type. Ah, okay, secondaries cannot be changed. Gotcha. Okay, so that's not an option. But like this, it's an option. Short range, we have spacious, weight remaining. We've upgraded the tertiary and primary guns. The cost is not really bad, you know, I won't lie. The only issue I have with the speed, I wanted it at least... Yeah, but it's not going to allow us more than 17 knots, so that actually makes it cap at 15 no matter what we do. And I can actually lower the amount of ammo here and here. And here, and we're good. So rounds per gun, 150. Yeah, overall, I won't lie, this design looks much better than it was. I mean, the fact that it's bulged is gonna kill its speed, but We rebuilt the engines. We have a better gun added right now, a much better gun. We have much better tertiary guns as well, which is a huge difference. 5 caliber, I think it was 2? 5? No, sorry, 8 caliber 2 or 8 caliber 5 guns is a massive difference. Especially because these ones have quality 0. So, yeah, this would work. And we have spacious accommodation. Surprisingly, that is actually a really good design now. I mean, it's not amazing, but it is going to work for us, which is what we need. Too bad we can't really increase the range. That's one thing that we can't change. If I focused on speed, I think it still won't allow me though to go over 18 knots. Yeah, so we have to go with 17. And there really is no... If we went with reliability to at least make sure that the engine is reliable. We could like this. Hello, freeboard narrow. 12. Okay, we can lower the primaries to 130 rounds. Okay, so massive changes. But again, I'm happy with them. We have a 12-inch single turret in the front. We didn't do anything with the secondaries, but the tertiaries have been heavily upgraded. We have a spacious accommodation now. We have a central firing on the ship. The rebuild is going to take 14 months of 845 each. But again, the ship now can work. I mean, it's not even a battleship anymore. It's more like a monitor class ship, which we can keep in the dock, and it can shoot at anyone coming to us. But it will be with the 10-inch belt. It's going to be enough to repel most of the enemy's cruisers, because penetration. I mean, the 8-inch gun, if you look at it, which is what most of our enemies have at the best, slightly over 5 inches of penetration, so we can take 2 solid hits before it penetrates. So it will take some beating, and it can be used as a leader for a squadron of destroyers and light cruisers accompanying it. So yeah, really, really like it. So rate of fire is, lowered a bit, accuracy is lowered a bit, but we have the actually one thing that I wanted to check. If I wanted to increase guns to caliber 8, because that caliber 8 would still be much better than what we had added before. Would this be valid? Oh, the secondaries have higher caliber, okay. And we cannot change the caliber, so do we want the armor? We want to armor the main turret heavily. Should we? Okay, no, we can't do it. Okay, so this stays. So like this, which is fine. Cool. Okay, I'm really happy with it. I'm quite surprised, but I'm really, really, really happy with it. Okay, well, major rebuild. It's gonna take a lot of time, but yeah, it's gonna work. So we can start rebuilding. What, 2 of you? I don't know. We can rebuild only 1 at this point. So let's start with. Let's start with the Weissenburg. Honestly, that has been with us probably for the longest time. So let's rebuild it to the 1903 rebuild. 11,828. Just out of curiosity, how much does Donau cost? 64,000. And yeah, okay, so it's still much cheaper. It's not like we're overspending on it, but Cool. So Weissenburg is being rebuilt. Dramatic rebuild it is. Dramatic indeed. König von Preußen has finished our working up. The Kaiser wants to hold an international naval gathering with a sailing regatta and competition. This will strengthen our international standing and lessen tensions, but the money to finance the event will be taken out of the naval budget. What is your reaction? This is not a good time for such an event. The Navy supports the excellent initiative to follow. Yeah, sure. Grand Admiral Karen is average. And tensions with Great Britain decreased, and we got more prestige. We're almost at 30. So Southern Asia is still moving. Southeast Asia. Wait, no, that's not the one that we had. It's Ada Zeeps. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, let's end the turn. The world economy has recovered after the crisis. 3 ships have finished working up. A spy from Great Britain has been discovered. Handle it quietly and discreetly. We don't really want to push that. So world economy has recovered. I wonder if it's going to change our budget. Well, it did slightly. So we wanted to rebuild the Gazelles. Those are also ships that need to be looked at. They do have a lot of weight remaining, so we can go with the central firing, I think, and we should have enough. Yep, we can just add that, and that is absolutely fine. We could upgrade the primaries. Would that work? Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I'm surprised they weigh less even. So we saved a little bit more weight. So yeah. Okay, so the rebuild of the Gazelle is gonna have improved 5-inch guns as primaries and improved secondaries. So that's good. And it's gonna get the central firing. Gonna cost 488 for 4 months. But that's fine. So it costs 1953 per ship. Okay. So we need... Well, this would be quite dramatic to upgrade them. That's 8,000. We won't be able to upgrade them all, but we can upgrade 2 of them. So rebuild you. Sure, I didn't do one thing. What if we replace the machinery? That saves a ton. God damn it. Okay, let me see what we could do with it if we rebuild the machinery. It's way more expensive. But I smell opportunity to make it much, much faster. Yeah, we could go to 23 knots. 23 knots is really good. But it's a heavy overweight. And I don't think there's anything that we can save on that much. So no rebuilding of the machinery for now, but a secondary refit of this, once we get a little bit more savings, is most likely going to allow that for us. So you guys go and get rebuilt. So currently Gazelle and Zebra are rebuilding, Weissenburg is rebuilding, and we're building König von Preußen class ship called Friedrich I. July 1903 behind us. Our submarine research is hampered by us having few operational submarines. 4 submarines should be enough to ensure a development of submarine expertise. Okay, diving planes, 5% increase of submarine reliability. Okay, we need to build more submarines then. I guess that's what the game is telling us. And while I am not mad at it, I agree we need more, but I would still like to roleplay that we need to finish the first one to test it first, and then we're gonna build another one. Cool. Next turn. Research breakthrough, improved subdivision, gradual damage control improvements. I often wonder if these are applied to older ships as well. I don't think so, honestly, because it makes very little sense that you would subdivide your already existing ships. But what do I know? Capped armor piercing projectile. We have trouble with that. Intelligence report from Spain. They're refitting their ship Princesa de Asturias with central rangefinder. Captain Zurzai Graf has shown himself of above average ability, and Captain Zurzai Detmers is also he's of average ability. Battleship Erzhog Karl has a belt armor of 9 inches and turret armor of 9 inches. Austria-Hungary ship class Destroyer Spalato is rumored to carry 4-inch main guns. Research breakthrough subdivision and damage control, improved subdivision. Okay. Cool. Still bleeding money, but it's fine. A new government wants to reduce naval spending in favor of social programs. We have no unrest. And get the Navy League to protest. Try to get the proposal watered down. Get the Navy League to protest. Newspaper in Austria-Hungary is clamoring for their navy to build more armored cruisers. Admiral Top has shown himself of average ability. Contra Admiral Boimgertel of Northern Europe cruisers, average, has left the service. And instead we have Captain Suza Detmers promoted to Contra Admiral and taking command. Fregatten Captain Zeifrling is commanding Medusa now. Lindemann, Captain Suza, is placed in command of Home Fleet First Scout. And we have more ships in Southeast Asia than we can. Increase intelligence of Great Britain again, but we managed to save the budget at the cost of 1 prestige point. Now let's see what November brings us. We have commissioned the submarine SSCU-1. And 2 cruisers have finished their reconstruction. And we get a research breakthrough in fire control again, range calculator. Okay, so the first submarine has been commissioned. 2 cruisers have finished their reconstruction. Contra Admiral Ambrosius has left the service. He was average. Instead we have Contra Admiral Karen. Intelligence report from Spain. Cataluna will reportedly be commissioned in 12 months. And new ship under construction. Heavy cruiser Cataluna has a top speed of 22 knots and belt armor of 3 inches. Well, fire control, range calculator, and new warships. Yada yada yada. Southeast Asia are passing there. That doesn't matter. Okay, so which ships finished the reconstruction? It was the Gazelles. Okay, so we can now refit the Ibex and the Topi. So that's gonna cost us about 400 per month for 4 months, so we can do it. We're gonna be able to use the money that we have to pay for that. I actually think that Gazelles could be split or accompany one of the Weissenburgs to Liaotung, for example, and serve there as a colonial ship. It would be pretty good for that, I think. Okay, December, we finished the new dock. And USA is seeking improved relations with us due to rising tensions with Spain. What do you recommend? Sure, why not? So new dock completed. Captain Jose Bar is promoted to Contra Admiral. Graf is placed in command of Hertha Spiegel. Admiral von Spiegel has retired. Intelligence report from Italy. The destroyer Nembo has 3-inch main gun. Light cruiser Giovanni Bausan is now under construction. Is a belt armor of 2 inches and 21 knots. And the heavy cruiser Sankt Georg has a 7-inch main gun. And light cruiser Marcus has belt armor of 4 inches and 2 inches on its turrets. And tensions between Italy and Austria-Hungary increase. And between USA and Spain increase again. Yeah, Spain and United States might drop into another war soon. Interesting. Well, we got a little bit of increase in budget again. I think that we can now start building more submarines. So if they say that we need 4, we're gonna build 3 more. So you 2. Yeah, the reliability does not increase for submarines that you already built. So you 3 and you 4. So we can afford that, so we're gonna build 3 more submarines. Can take 14 more a month. We're gonna have a pretty decent. I don't know if this tonnage is actually counting for your almanac. If it shows, I mean, it should. Yeah, it should show here. Yeah, because we have the submarines. Damn, everybody has submarines with exception of Italy. France has 1. Great Britain has 3, and they're building 4. Russia has 4, building 4. Japan has 3, building 1. As usual, we are behind. Well, I mean, our submarines are going to be better. They're going to have little beautiful, I don't know, bows on them. Okay, now a good idea might be to design a rebuild for the Deutsche Kaisers and switch the central rangefinder for central firing, which we can do in turn for reducing ammo slightly. And if we reduce the ammo, it jumps to 12 months, which we do not want. So central rangefinder, central firing, and I don't know. Yeah, we could reduce the ammo in the secondaries. That does nothing for the cost. Okay, that sounds good. Actually, a question though is, we were rebuilt in 1898. If we replaced machinery, well, what for this cost? Is it worth it? Well, I mean, Wilhelm II is already rusting. It has only 18 knots top speed. So, you know, but it's 10,000. We could design a whole new battleship for this. Because if we use the design of... Where are you? Which guys that are here? Look at that. Read the guns. Well, we can't really do that much with it. And we don't have the central firing there. But the better guns. Yeah, I could fix it by just increasing the displacement slightly. The penetration though is really bad. What about 11 inch? No, that costs 700 tons. So as an escort battleships Or small-scale battleships. These are good. These are really good. 10-6. How's that? Ship type is identified as a heavy cruiser right now. Huh. So this is no longer considered a battleship. It's considered a heavy cruiser at this point. I'm not saying I'm blaming the game for that distinction. It's just I wasn't ready for such a hit to my self-esteem. Honestly. Oh, but the Donau is just crazy when you look at that. That is just absolutely crazy. Even if we upgrade the tertiary guns to 5 inches. Yeah, this is the, wait, what? Oh yeah, it's the name. We fix this by increasing the, if we could. So if we make them 20,000 in displacement, we can have 12-inch quality -1 guns on it, 8-inch gun secondaries, and 5-inch gun tertiaries. They can do 22 knots. It's literally insanely good. How much does it cost? 2,300. It's gonna take 30 months to build. Well, we're moving in circles because this question was really about the Deutsche Kaiser. So if we open the design for rebuild, I can actually upgrade your primaries as well, which alone is gonna make it really bad. 5 tons. Yeah, okay, but they get much better in the guns, I mean. The ship has narrow belt, but these are just notes, so that really doesn't hurt us. 774 for 6 months. But again, better guns, significantly better guns, and a better firing solution machine. So yeah, this is worth it. So we're not gonna rebuild you right now, but we have the rebuild prepared for when the Ibex and Gazelle are done. Dang it, very expensive to do stuff like this. Our scientists report that they are well on their way to understand high tensile steel, and we get an upgrade in torpedo technology. The range is now 2,500 yards. And that's it. That's all she wrote. So okay, this was a very dramatic year for us. I'm not gonna lie, but we're doing a good job. We're rebuilding the Weissenburgs. That is something that you guys wanted, and we're gonna do it. We have a design or redesign ready for the Deutsche Kaisers, which is gonna make them much better, but it is a costly one. We're building the Friedrich I, which is gonna be the second König von Preußen ship in service. And that's that. And we rebuilt a number of ships. So then the question is just looking at ships like Hertha, Hella, and the Prince Heinrichs. But you know, reasonably speaking, we can do a lot with these. Especially if I replace machinery. Could speed them up. Give them less ammo. Well, okay, that just makes it insanely expensive. But you know, possibilities are there. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Because for now, we're done with this one. But we've done well. I'm not going to say that we haven't, because we have done well.